Team Liquid versus DarkZero, our final elimination game of today. It is going to be a best of 3. Talk to me about this one, Fresh.
Oh, I don't want either of these teams to go home, but I guess we start off with DarkZero, and I think, you know, as former major champions, it's got to be somewhat disappointing for them. I think some of the players, you know, that we're used to seeing, NJR, Pamba, Gav, you know, performing domestically have not quite hit it internationally, and I don't know if it's a system problem or a nerves problem. I'm not quite sure what's going on there.
Yeah, and how about on the side of DarkZero? Obviously, as you did mention, they've definitely got some firepower amongst them, but X, any team in particular that you want to... Shouting from the teams, there we go. They're hyped, prep, primed and ready.
Any players in particular? You've always got to look at this fixture and look at Parlu. You've always got to look at him and go, this could be a big difference maker. On the flip side, you look at DarkZero and you think, you know, which one of them is it going to be? Is it going to be Pamba? Is it going to be any? There's plenty of people there that have got that potential to pop off. I just don't foresee this being as explosive as the previous series, but the stakes are exactly the same. We're looking at DarkZero, as Fresh has already mentioned, previous major winners, a team that would be expected to do well internationally competition, and then Liquid. How many times have we been in this position where Liquid is a team that we look at and we go, when is it their time?
And I think when it comes down to the veto, gents, this is a little bit of a question mark everywhere.
So it's not often that we stand here and we're kind of baffled by map vetoes. I think both teams have gone for a map pick that we weren't expecting, you know. Liquid picking into Clubhouse where it's a very low preference map for them, but also very low preference for DZ. And DZ doing the same back with that border pick. It's low preference for DZ, but I think they might have seen something yesterday when Liquid played up against G2.
How do we think it's going to pan out, though?
I think knowing the type of team that DZ are, they're not afraid to go for a little counter prep. We've seen them do a lot of counter prep so far inside of this competition. We saw them counter prep Falcons quite heavily, for example. I don't foresee this being too much of a, we're going to see, you know, maps that people are entirely unfamiliar with. I think this is a case of, this is our last chance. We need to pick maps here that we're all not only confident in, but we've got the ability to do a little bit of counter analysis on.
Well, Guz and Xenox, I'm excited for a little bit of an intense matchup. Take us through it.
Yeah, hopefully. We obviously just had a wonderful game leading into this. It's got some expectations to live up to for two teams, obviously on a bit of a losing streak coming into this. One of them will go home, one will survive to fight another day. That's basically the storyline here. And as obviously Fresh was saying on the desk, a couple of maps that we've got that probably we weren't expecting to go to.
Yeah, this veto is pretty insane. The numbers don't look particularly great for either team, especially on the first two maps in this series. So both of these teams clearly cooking in the background heading into this one. It's Clubhouse to kick this series off. Both teams fighting for survival.
And straight into it, I've got a Xenox fun fact. The final one for the major from me.
Okay.
Neither team has won their map pick in 2023.
Really?
Yep.
And that includes the regional leagues?
That includes the regional leagues. That even includes SI. Both of the teams that picked their maps for this respective series, they have not found a win.
That is a big call.
So, hence, obviously, a little bit of the confusion on the desk coming into this one as to, obviously, why we are actually heading to these. And DarkZero, every single game that they've played, they have banned Azami. That streak continues, by the way, for the entirety of stage one. That's another.
You lied. You said the last one was your last one.
There's another Xenox fun fact. Yeah, Azami banned every single game from DarkZero across the board, all stage long. That streak continues. We head over to Clubhouse. And obviously for two teams, big reputations, a lot on the line. Neither of them would want to be going home this early. The goal really should be to make the finals. To do that, you've got to win this best of 3, and you've got to win another one then tomorrow.
Who have you got?
It's a tough one. I mean, we've had the fortune of seeing a little bit of Team Liquid. I think at their best. I think they're certainly capable. DarkZero as well. I mean, it really just comes down to I know it sounds simple, but whoever just performs better in this series is going to get away with this. And it's just a matter of who can bring their best at the right time, hit the big shots. I'm imagining there's going to be a lot of fine margin rounds, a lot of 50-50 moments, 1v1s, 2v2s. All of those clutch plays will come out. So whoever can stand up in the clutch the better in this series is going to walk away with it. But big game coming up. DarkZero on the defense first to begin on Clubhouse.
Yeah, in terms of the rest of the bans, so we'll see a single high bridge taken out in the Mav. Flores as well has been dealt with by Team Liquid, so clearing some util will be a little bit more challenging and gathering additional information for the attack. Kaid as well to round out the defense, and on a hatch-centric map like Clubhouse, that makes perfect sense. And yeah, heading into this one, should be relatively close. Both teams finished second in their respective regional leagues. At this event, though, Liquid statistically edging out on a couple of metrics. DarkZero, not one of their players currently positive in CGG rating heading into the day. So slightly concerning, but again, if you fire up today, the veto's played out the way that they would have liked, that can change.
Well, they had some big losses, 1-7 to Sonics, 4-7 to NIP. Obviously had the win against the Falcons, that one being only a 7-4 though. I think Liquid have been a little bit closer in some of their games. I mean, we obviously got the Custom 5-7 loss over to W7M. That was a good one. Thought it was rather 50-50. Obviously a tough loss though to G2, 3-7. Tough team though. So Liquid on the attack first. Volps will look to open this up. Secondary hard breach over towards Stock. That will be done rather successfully. Nothing too crazy on the defense though from DarkZero. They'll keep it pretty default. They'll keep it on site. Want to block out the drones coming in towards site, but not really extending out above for the roam. Not looking to meet Liquid head on. They'll give them the above rather uncontested.
The onus on the late round likely on key defenders like NJR on that Warden, especially to counter Volps on the Ying. Volps as well, a little bit of a talking point. We may get into that a little bit later, but he has been underperforming at this event. So again, he's keen to prove himself, and Team Liquid, when the likes of Volps play well, really do step up to that next level. And that's the sort of gear that they need to find in a series like this. Probably not expecting, we probably didn't expect Team Liquid to find themselves in this particular position, but now it's about making the most of the situation. Minute to go for this initial push. And DarkZero, to their credit, playing is very, very safe, but not really feeling the need to make too many grand plays at the moment. Triple wall now being worked by the Selma. That just forces Canadian back a little bit.
Yeah, Achieved is sitting dirt, and he has got a player pushing in his direction in Volps. Candela goes out 35 seconds. He's going to have to commit to this push. So Achieved has to be ready for this. Can't necessarily just fall back, has to hold the angle. That's at least a set of eyes for DarkZero, not being able to look towards sight from Arsenal. Volps, though, well, he sees one further back into sight. Then, of course, last second sees Achieved up close with the shotgun. Keeps spraying, but anyway, he just walks straight into it with the shotgun. Too strong. Resets now through main. He doesn't find anything. 4 versus 2, and DarkZero's defense proving to be too strong for Liquid as Pamba gets the kill on Tapalu. That should be the round from here. Yes, Blank goes down, but 3 more required from Lagonis, and he can't find it. And there will be a good, strong start on the basement for DarkZero.
Yeah, great work there from Pamba, doing a good job whilst that plant is going down to apply constant pressure onto Liquid. The attack playing fine, margins didn't leave a whole lot up to chance at the end. They didn't have much time to really work around, and sort of as we mentioned, right, DZ not really feeling the need to make too many eccentric plays. They backed themselves in fundamentally on that side to play it out in a textbook fashion. And that's exactly what they were able to pull off. Looking at the replays, good little shotgun swing there from Achieved through the spray. Nesk as well, despite his best efforts there on the backstab, well traded.
Attackers need to protect it.
And again, the trades overall from DarkZero raining out on top.
Yeah, not a bad little start. It's best of 3, so it's going to be a journey, that's for sure. 1 round in, not a whole lot. They probably take too much away from it. It's really just that 1 round at a time mentality that is required, especially on a map like Clubhouse. You're on the defense first, you want to do well. Church Arsenal, you kind of just want to tick that one off, move on, and pretty much claim some of these tertiary sites up above. Speaking of, we do go to Cash and CCTV in the 2nd round. Has actually come back into the meta a little bit here, actually, at the major. Fell out by quite a way. We saw a lot more bar stage and a lot of the regional leagues coming into the major, but definitely seeing Cash and CCTV make its return a lot more here. That's exactly where we head to for the 2nd round, courtesy of DarkZero. Canadian on that Solace is available. Same with the Valkyrie, not though opted into it from this round for DarkZero.
3 drones taken down in the preparation phase, so Team Liquid will now find it increasingly more difficult as the round goes on to scout out information. Particularly important on a site like this if you want flank watch, if there is eventually a push on the western side of the building over towards bedroom, and it looks like that's where this initial attack is progressing. Nesk keen to open up con. Electrified, but the impact EMP will facilitate that. So wall gets opened up, Nesk can fall off and probably begin to work main wall would be the guess. The likes of Palu will get to work on soft breach. That's the Logi Hatch dealt with, and again with those grenades being critical utility, he will want to stay alive into the mid round. In fact, it's the ace actually of Lagonis to open up main breach. So at the moment, the checklist being worked through quite nicely by Team Liquid. But this setup over towards Garage does look pretty formidable from DarkZero. A double stack achieved. Pamba holding down the line. Is also a deployable shield on rafters. But there's pressure elsewhere as well. Canadian on the Solus playing contact for drones. And Team Liquid just need to be careful about that economy.
And they're going to need to be careful about Canadian in general, just the way that he's lurking over towards bedroom. He's got a bit of con as well in his sight lines, so something to keep in mind. It is Neskler that actually finds the opening kill onto Pamba. That's a big one onto the Wamai. Assuming that one was over towards Rafters, and that's a big kill. Still one more over there, so a double stack there from DarkZero has now been cut down to 1. And Neskler's at least got some good control towards the main breach of Kennel's wall. Still over a minute remaining. Feels like a slow round, but a lot of time still on the clock remains. And Canadian does eventually get shut down on the roam con side. So that kind of just weakens the defense now for DarkZero over towards Con and over towards Kennels. So NJR steps up, makes a move. But unfortunately, they lost Gavini. So at the same time, Liquid get another one back. They'll maintain their 2-player advantage. NJR, though, gets a second in the round. That's a big one over towards top red, and Achieved answers back too. So suddenly the round is equal once again, and they've still got Rafters control. But NJR goes for a third, and this time is unable to find the kill. Achieved has to peek out, still has one more gas babe available.
And there's only one route back towards site, that's through the window vault. Team Liquid should be able to lock this out, but they don't have the diffuser in hand to force Achieved to move. That now changes though, as Palu's able to collect it, but he needs to make this run across in towards side, and Achieved must hit this shot.
He hears the sound cue, heard the choke, knows he's there at the doorway, sees him as well as he peeks out. Palu makes his way across, he can get the plant down successfully. So now it's up to Achieve to do something here. He has to make a play, he knows that main breach is being watched by Reset. Liquid will get the attacking round of cash to CCTV. A very strong round from them, 1-1.
Yeah, ultimately there, Achieved actually did have two options, the window and the breach, but that just opened up the angle. And we know how difficult it can be to play retake from Garage Rafters once main breach is opened up, and it's so fundamental to that push that you have to expect it. As a defender, good start from Team Liquid. They got that initial pick. Canadian, who was lurking on that bedroom gym side, trying to cut down drones as well, caught off guard. Good attempt though, Achieved. NJR hit some really nice shots to get it back in the 2v2, but then NJR on a bit of an island, went into that swing and resets, doesn't miss that shot, doesn't miss the second, and Team Liquid claim a round back.
Yeah, and the win condition there for Achieved is simple. You can't allow that cross through Cash. As soon as he makes that cross for Palu, he gets in, gets the plant down. It's very unlikely that Achieved's going to be able to win from that position over towards Rafters. He's being watched on the main breach. Even if he somehow hits a miracle shot, gets that kill, then it's still a 1v1, where Palu knows where the last one is anyway. So 1-1 scoreline here. It's Cash for CTB. Does get taken by Team Liquid. DarkZero will not look to repeat. They will switch it up. And rightfully so as well. Gym Bedroom, a site that has proven to be quite successful for a lot of teams. Extension over towards top red, and Cash will come out. So everything's rather default at the moment from DarkZero. Not looking to really shake the meta too much from what we've seen coming into this game. When we looked at a lot of these picks and a lot of the maps that got through the veto, thought that, you know, these are the kind of maps where maybe you've been working on them behind the scenes in scrims. Both teams have not had success. This is the first time that DarkZero is going to play Clubhouse all stage long. Liquid, it's the second time. They've only played it once, back on the 19th of March, was a 7-8 loss to FaZe. So not a whole lot of officials played on this map for both of these two teams, and that comes out at the major. Presence over towards Jacuzzi to begin with here for Team Liquid, and already opened up kennels.
Yeah, being patient here on the attack, probably suspecting Achieve to be on the other side, tricking the wall, who does eventually make his way across from Con, but it's Volps who cuts that down. That's a big pick for Liquid and allows the wall now to be opened up.
Yeah, I mean, just getting a kill in general, but when you take out the Bandit, who can no longer obviously electrify that wall, it's almost like a double whammy there for DarkZero. That's a big hole, literally opened up over towards Jacuzzi. At the minute 45 of the clock, that's a lot of presence. They can now work their way over towards the con wall as well, open that up. Obviously, they've already got pressure kennels. So Team Liquid actually doing a lot early on here in this round, puts them in a good position. And suddenly that logistics office area now also under threat.
The onus, though, still on Liquid to form an attack. There'll be pressure on Canadian and Con to hold on that position. Pamba as well still has presence over towards CCTV, so he can hold the balcony. Liquid, I'm sure, will be more than aware of that as Volps makes his way forward with the shock drone, deals with that mirror window, which was already exposed after Con got opened up. E1D goes out and Impact EMP rather to follow. Salmos as well to expose Bathroom. And DarkZero now have very few safe positions to play on defense.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if they've got main stairs control either. So that might even be another avenue late in the round for Team Liquid. If they can send someone up main. Canadian, though, finds a big kill onto Nesk, and Cavini will actually defend this alloy position pretty strong. Gets the kill, now gives DarkZero quite a significant advantage as Pamba will double up for them by getting the kill onto Palu. Lagonas tries to swing in towards Jim, can't find the foothold kill. And in the end, this one's fallen apart for Team Liquid. Despite a very, very strong start, DarkZero just hold their positions. And Resets can't find anything there against NJR, holding out towards Jim. Strong defense from DarkZero. Held their nerves, held their positions. Didn't fret, despite Liquid getting a lot done early in that round. Credit has to go to DarkZero because a lot of that site was well opened up.
All right, basement, okay. I'm gonna do the Valk this time, Matt.
Yeah, that's a big round from DarkZero to be able to ward off that attack. They lose Achieved early. Volps actually made his way up main. I thought it was from the belt.
Yeah.
So that's an insane play for DarkZero to have allowed that to happen. But then when the push came through, they won every single engagement cleanly. That's a credit to DarkZero. They hold on in that round. They knew that the pressure was being maxed by Team Liquid.
Yep.
But they hold on, they win it out, and they go back to base.
That's interesting. He got that kill from main, but doesn't hold that position. They don't look to try and get too aggressive off that. Instead, falls back. So you get the kill on the Bandit, open up the main breach Jacuzzi.
Well, he wants to hold on to the shock drones, right? So the mirror was still up. You still had...
There's a lot more to do.
Yeah, you still had Bandit batteries if the EMP grenades, for whatever reason, go astray. So I think Team Liquid tried to play the percentage play there, right?
Yep.
Maybe there's another world, another timeline in which he does regress, gets 2, 5v3, different story, but...
Honestly, could have cleared out logistics.
Even 5v4 with Bandit down should be a round win.
So 2-1 lead for DarkZero, and they get the opportunity to head back to the basement now. Church and Arsenal. Relatively safe site. You would imagine defensively. We heard Canadian, he said, I'm on the Valk this time. And the Valk he is. And I imagine the way that they played this last time, when you look at the lineup that they've got, they'll play intel, they'll play a bit of information.
Well, Canadian called bunker, so I assume it's going to be very much on site. That said, there is an outline on some kind of a room. I'm sure we'll get confirmation as to who that is. Oh, Achieved. So there's Mute Jammers peppered above on the top floor, and Achieved is going to try and mask his position in the hopes that Liquid don't drone him out. And even if he is, there is an escape route down the hatch.
I will say, though, Liquid did drone top floor last time we saw Church Arsenal, so it's not as if they went for the shortcut route. Something that Achieved has to keep in mind. Of course, we actually played Deep Dirt the last time we saw this particular site, and he does come back sensing the fact that he is getting drone top floor, not going to risk it, and I think that's the smart play. Sometimes you go for it, and other times when you do feel that pressure, it is best to just vacate the area. Moto gets opened up, and decent start early on, but Cavini's got a lot of information here.
Ooh.
Yellow ping went out off the back of that Valk camp. Nitrocell does not hit the mark, though.
No IQ on the board for Team Liquid, so finding these black eye cameras from Canadian on the Valkyrie will prove challenging. And you can see the wealth of information available. Spotting out drones and allowing NJR to farm those. Again, he's going to be critical in the late round on the Warden with Ying in play. He can see through those flashes, and if there were smokes also available, he would have been able to see through those.
A lot of Mute Jammers committed top floor as well, so not going to be obviously utilized towards the bottom. We're seeing a lot of drones actually get into sight because of that. Chief does have a Nitrocell, something to keep in mind late into the round here as Resets looks to try and open up triple. 60 seconds left. Gaspabe went out bot main. And a little Gemini peek towards Pit from Nesk. He's going to nade this and then maybe look to push after it. No, he doesn't, just holds for now. But time is definitely of the essence here in a 5 versus 5 push onto site. You'd probably back in DarkZero, especially after what we saw from that last round. There is at least presence over towards Moto. Dirt being watched by Cheap, but no presence from Liquid over towards that location. I think it's going to be a drop with Candelas through Moto in towards Church. See if they can hit a couple of good shots. Nesk over towards Pit. Very much a big win condition to try and get control of blue.
Enemy spotted.
20 seconds then, and a Candela cooked, and it's Canadian, the first to fall. Nesk as well, pushing through blue, and Volps will look to send it. Palu falls, a key player for Team Liquid, and NJR also falls in response. So there's 10 seconds on the clock, but a 5v2. In fact, it's flawless for Team Liquid, who lock out the round.
Yeah, very strong attack. NJR sitting over towards Arsenal, watching the blue push, but it's actually the Candelas going in towards Church, so he was pretty much no effect on the Warden. The Candelas get full effect. They drop down, they get a couple of kills, and when you get the first 2 kills on a drop, I mean, it's going to be so difficult then for DarkZero to respond. They have to scramble players that are in deep dirt, aren't really going to be able to get trades. So a really strong attack there from Team Liquid. And so far, an arm wrestle between these two teams, these juggernauts. And heading back over to Cash and CCTV, DarkZero don't even want to repeat.
Look, just trying to keep things fresh, I think. It can be very easy on a map like Clubhouse to get a bit stagnant, right? You could go back down below and then look to play aggressive, but I think Liquid have shown that they're very proficient on these clears, even with the mute available and being utilized by the defense. So a change up here from DarkZero, don't mind that all too much. But that said, Liquid, their fundamentals on this side, as you would come to expect, were also very, very strong. We saw DarkZero, especially those players over towards Garage on islands, and it was very difficult for them to get themselves back into the round.
Yeah, definitely could have repeated that last round, though, in my mind. I think you could change it up. Maybe you don't commit Achieve to that top floor hold with the mute jammers and then just kind of rotate off that very quickly. Either you commit all to side or maybe go for some kind of lurk roam, a little bit more pressure, main stairs for a swing over towards Kitchen could have been on the cards. Just show a little bit more aggression, because so far I think defensively from DarkZero, it has very much been that bunker style, right, where they're kind of just sitting on site. Any contact fights are on site. They're not looking to really play too deep into the lurk outside of, I think it was Canadian in one of the earlier rounds. He actually cashed in CCTV on the Solus. That was it. Now on the mute. Main breach opened up over towards Kennels, rather successfully for Team Liquid. I'll tell you what, one more attacking round in this half, and they'll be in a very good position. Firebolt in hand for Volps. They want to look to clear out this rafters.
2 minutes then, and Panda, oh, he drops down. He does survive though, gets back. Canadian on the jump out as well. So aggression all over the map. Chaos ensues. Achieved as well, taken low. So chip damage well and truly going the way of Team Liquid.
Yeah, massively. Look at the side of DarkZero. 3 of them tagged up heavy. Achieved as well. I mean, he's in an absolute spot of bother. His feet, he's just trying to hide them from Nesk. Because I tell you what, another bullet to the feet, and he's probably going to fall really quickly, and NJR tries to aggress. Oh, that's a double for Nesk. Just has to hold the one sight line, and they literally just walk into him.
Oh,
yeah, but that's a big time play. And that's the kind of play that NJR wanted to make. Nesk probably didn't sense they would go for yet another re-aggress. But credit to DarkZero when it kind of looked like maybe that round was going to fall away. They've got a big kill back. 3 versus 3 stabilized they have, but they've given up rafters.
Yeah, it should be pretty simple for Liquid from this point onwards. Get that diffuser through Garage, go for a default plant. You have coverage breach. You could send a player up red as well for a bit of pressure. Flashes also available for Lagonis to flush out positions. Volps has 2 smoke bolts available as well. So Liquid in a good position again when you factor in the huge HP advantage that they grinded at the beginning of this round.
Pamba's still just holding lounge. He could actually go for a flank through Garage and maybe catch off Lagonis. If there's really not a whole lot of people watching, there's actually the default. That will catch them off guard as well. So that's a bit of information for Pamba. There is still a Nitrocell available for Canadian. Pamba holds lounge, but he doesn't expect Volps to be that close. Loses his life. Gavini and Canadian, the last 2 alive now defensively for DarkZero. Still good conditions though being held. Top red in control, but Lagonis can go in. Fakes it next to the bomb chassis, of course, wary of the fact that Canadian is down below with that Nitrocell. He can still deny this with 8 seconds to go. Should still be one watching from below. Whereas Canadian is the only one that can probably deny this now. Gavini kills one, top red. Plant, there is that Nitrocell, misses the mark. Never mind, Canadian gets the kill!
What?
What? Canadian wins the round for DarkZero at the very, very last second.
Liquid just dropped the ball. Canadian gets a huge kill. I don't know how they've managed to pull that off. We need some replays for the conclusion of that round, but a big play by Canadian. So much experience, of course, on those shoulders. You expect big plays from him, and that's exactly what he's been able to produce in that round. But I tell you what, that was again a Team Liquid round through and through until the bitter end.
And they played it well. I loved the fake over towards the bomb chassis, then move away, expecting probably the nitrocell from down below. Starts early here as well, where it's a little bit of that back and forth. Liquid looked okay. They opened up a good amount of the site once again. I think that's been the general consensus to what we've seen in the first half. Nesk with a nice double. You just start to think, DarkZero falling away? But it was a nice power push from Pamba. Volps as well through Lounge. He gets that kill in through Garage. And then from here, well, we need that replay of Canadian. So there was the nitrocell. There was the kill down below.
He just got off the plant.
He got off the plant.
See, I almost thought he denied it, but then I was in the back of my mind, where was the information?
I was like, he must have shot him through the floor. I was like, in that moment. So he just gets off.
Well, they had the 3v2 Team Liquid, and instead of keeping that player down below to counter the nitro, they thought about it way too late. They're like, oh, wait, hang on. There might be a player down below. We should probably go deal with that. And then it fell apart. Canadian obviously playing that very proactively. Yeah, that is a big, big boo-boo from Team Liquid.
Interesting, though. I think even in regardless of that, even if that plant gets down, I think they're still in good position to still potentially win that round. Regardless, we move forward. End of this half coming up. Final round. DarkZero do get to 3 defensive rounds. They'd love to get to 4, considering this is the pick of Team Liquid for the map. And this time they do go back down to Church Arsenal. Elected to not repeat it. And a little bit of presence main stairs from NJR early in this round, something that we haven't really seen from DarkZero. Takes out the drone, he'll fall back, that'll do for him. 3 drones gone already, and we see the Blitz Ying coming out from Team Liquid. The signs of that could very much be that mid-round rush onto site off of the back of the Candelas. The question will be the way that NJR wants to operate here on the water. I think he needs to be looking in towards Church.
So the final round then of the half. Been back and forth, neck and neck. But I do get the impression that Team Liquid have more weaknesses on this map. They've certainly displayed them in a couple of these rounds. DarkZero have been there to capitalize, which just makes this such an exciting series. Liquid probably going in as favorites, but if they go ahead and even at least look shaky on their map pick, it keeps things intriguing. NJR getting absolutely showered by utility, but he can see through it all. Fortunately for Liquid, no one follows up, otherwise they would have died.
Well, they've still got the Candelas available from the Lagonis, but that is a lot of utility expended. Very little return from Team Liquid. Volps over towards Dirt. Suddenly, there's only 60 seconds left in this round, so a lot of time already expended. What is the play here for Liquid? Volps just...
I think it's just going to be a full hatch drop, relying on Ying and then the Blitz Dirt. But again, if NJR plays that exact same position, AK, he is going to be able to deny this. Or maybe not, he died.
That kitchen hatch here in the push now from Volps. Is it going to be successful enough? Needs to get this kill on to achieve, and he has been able to do that. In the 3 versus 3 we go, and Lagonis to get the plant down. Volps can also watch. He's going to be a big impact late into this round. Where's Palu? Can he get involved? Canadian looking to deny the plant, but he dies over towards bot main. Pamba and Gavini, they both lose their lives. Well, the blitz attack works from Team Liquid to close out the half, and it is all even. 3-3 here on Clubhouse.
There's been so many rounds where just the smallest misplay or great play by the eventual winner is the linchpin. On that occasion, NJR falls for free, and then that allows that blitz to storm through. It allows the Ying to apply pressure, and there was no real response there from DarkZero outside of the smoke canisters, which unfortunately I don't think were also landing either. So again, good work there from Team Liquid. He's actually resets. He just pushed all the way down long. He got all the way down long to take down NJR, and then that allowed Volps to push forward, of course. Not really much achieved could do. He was seeing full white, 3v3. They storm through, they get these picks, and that's a good way to close out the half for Liquid.
Yeah, it certainly is. Well, an entertaining game, entertaining first half. Liquid on their map pick, go 3-3 on the attack. I think they'll be very happy with the way that they played out. Straight over to Church Arsenal now for them, actually on the defense, as DarkZero will be attacking.
10 seconds insertion.
Got a strong half, and definitely good signs from both teams. But I loved the way that Liquid was able to just open up pretty much all of the sites. A lot of the times firmly controlling the early portions of the rounds. Didn't really see a whole lot probably from DarkZero in terms of early round aggression on the defense. Anticipating though on the attack that they'll find a little bit more of that aggressive power. As Team Liquid bolts up above on the Mozzie, and you've got Nesk over towards Rafters. So a far more extensive extension for Team Liquid here from their Church Arsenal site. Extending all the way over towards CCTV, Garage Rafters as well, with Nesk on the Solus.
Yep, Solus Mozzie combo. It's going to be frustrating for DarkZero. It's going to be tricky to gain information, but they do have Tokubi, Yana, Jackal in response, so they have probably the perfect lineup to deal with this. Volps elsewhere under fire, who keep in mind going 5-4, a decent game heading into the day at this tournament, 15 to 23, 3-7 on entry as well, so it hasn't been the best of majors thus far for Volps, who recently came across, of course, from W7M, but he's found a bit of comfort here against DarkZero. Looks like that engagement then has come to an end, and Volps will make his way back through Lounge, looking to get back towards site.
And DarkZero's done a good job here to keep a lot of their drones intact. They've only lost 2, despite a very extensive roam up above from Liquid. There goes the third. So, minute and a half, big clear though required, which means a lot of time gets eaten away. And you don't then get a lot of that time spent over towards the Laxa kitchen to open up those floorboards. Pam will get a live drone through Garage. They can play pit, and for Liquid, they get to go back to site now. All 5 on site. Stock opened up already. Still going to open up kitchen and Moto though. Just over a minute, and obviously again, not a whole lot of extensive work done over towards kitchen. So DarkZero definitely behind the 8-ball, courtesy of that roam up above from Team Liquid. And they got away with it without losing a single player. Very much a success.
60 seconds then. A 5v5 and no team really edging ahead all that much. Final pieces of information now have been gathered by DarkZero. Canadian can come across on Habana with those X-Kairos, open up the remaining hatches. So some pretty simple groundwork now to be completed by DZ. Team Liquid will prepare themselves for this final push. A wealth of denial available, good information as well from the Valkyrie.
Bomb has been located.
This is going to be tough for DZ.
Yeah, I mean, there's basically no disruption on site for Liquid. They get to hold all the angles that they want. A couple of flashes go out. You have to play off of them. Gavini drops. They need some pressure. They need some kills. Honestly, at this point, just going to hit some big shots in towards Church. Panda can just watch the footholds here, hopefully impact this round as well. But he is just going to get struck down as well by the other ones in through Arsenal. Liquid definitely in control here. And it's basically only NJR towards bot main that had any chance of maybe saving that round because the other was planting. Well played round from Team Liquid, and they look a little bit in control here in Clubhouse, despite the scoreline. I think they've looked the better of the two teams so far.
Yeah, pretty textbook roam there by the LATAM roster, well, Brazilian league roster. They wasted enough time. They didn't even cut down much droning utility, but ultimately it didn't really matter, because they always found themselves in favorable positions. They never got caught off guard by the clear from DZ. So it all came down to that sort of 20-second drop. The trades initially were okay by DZ. Gav did a good job to force his way in towards site. But then the rest of the team, the rest of the defense, able to clean up. Ultimately a 3v1. There was, as you sort of mentioned, a very small window in the 2v3. Long was being held there by DZ, but the shots didn't land. And yeah, 1v3 with the plane still going down, not going to be achieved.
Yeah, ended up being a really large focus from DarkZero in towards Church as well. There wasn't a whole lot Arsenal. That left a lot of members up from Team Liquid, and they had all the sightlines in towards Blue and in towards Church. They were basically able to just sort of fire away without really much response back.
Attackers are moving out.
So 3-4 Liquid, once again, take the lead here. It's been sort of back and forth, I guess. A lot of fine margins, and I said that coming into this game, that's probably going to be the difference point. It's going to be a lot of 50-50 rounds, some clutch rounds. Who can get the majority of those definitely will find success here. Both teams, in terms of skill, definitely feel like it's equal right now. Gym Bedroom for the 8th round now. Can Liquid get some separation? There hasn't really been a whole lot of it. Very much had a lot of that sort of one-for-one mentality in this game. And Canadian hops onto the Montaigne to see if that can bring some success.
It'd be interesting to see how DZ employ the Monty. In the meanwhile, though, it's about playing off this early round information, getting some semblance of map control, and Gav will head that in through Garage. achieved as well. The exothermic opens up kennels, and there's immediate pressure here onto CCTV, and Nask holding top red stairs with a deployable shield.
Yeah, but the shield's actually on the stairs itself, so it's not quite protective if they do actually get into CCTV. So you want to probably fall off that one, any kind of pressure, and does do so rather early into the round. It's a mini micro win there for DarkZero. They can sort of just clear this so freely. Obviously, Canadian will check and double check. 90 seconds left to go in this round, and only just now getting a bit of cash control. Looking to push through Con, and you would imagine them with a pinch through Jacuzzi. But love to see a little bit of main stairs pressure. Haven't really seen it from either of these two teams. It is very much that highway here on Clubhouse. Again, still very efficient droning from DarkZero in terms of the economy. And NJR can put some pressure over towards the balcony.
Yep. DZ have, again, CCTV control, so that unlocks the balcony. No fear of a defender being able to backstab this setup from the attack. The balcony is a powerful position for NJR. You can try to shut down a lot of the key positions in towards the objective, but needs to be mindful. Team Liquid aren't going to sit and wait. Good read from Achieved. Pamba with the nade, but it's not quite enough for the down. Lagonis survives, makes his way back towards the objective, and that is unfortunate for DZ.
They can still play off of that though, so low. Palu gets the kill onto NJR though. That's a big one for Liquid. DarkZero thought they made it, have had that opening kill, but it wasn't to be. Oh, right in the hallway though, Laconis, he makes it work. He'll punish DarkZero for not getting that early kill. Very much could still fall the way of DarkZero in this round. It's not over yet. Laconis and Palu both very low on health. It's up to Pampa though. He's got the gun, but he runs in towards Volps. Liquid shut it down, and they can extend their lead here on Clubhouse to +2. Just some moments in that round that didn't quite go the way of DarkZero. Some fine margins. You get that nade kill, suddenly that round could very much change in so many different ways. 3-5 the scoreline. Liquid edging closer to taking their map pick.
Yeah, they got really quick control over towards Cash CCTV, did DZ, but then they're transitioning towards site, fell flat. The grenade over towards Logi didn't land. Lagonis in an off-meta position as well, confirmed the kill, which pretty much confirmed the round. And once you lose a couple of players there, the Monty is pretty much dead weight because you don't have the players to then play off it. So good work there by Team Liquid, looking rock solid on the D.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly there. The whole point of that Montang is to play off of it. He's the last one left, and it's all a little bit pointless, as we will get a technical timeout here. 3-5 scoreline going into it. Did see the fact that it was Cash and CCTV locked in for the next round when we do get back into the game. And very much an apt little break here for these two teams, and hot and heavy start to this one. And only just now, really, Liquid getting some semblance of a lead. It's very much been to sort of either even score lines or +1 round differential. So Liquid getting at least that +2 gap does at least relieve some of the pressure. And I think they've really controlled the map a little bit better, both on their first half attack and obviously defensively. They're extending out a little bit more. They're happy to take any early contact if it comes their way, or they're happy to also just fall off. DarkZero kind of just look like they're just following what Liquid's doing in a sense. Like Liquid will do something and DarkZero will respond to that, rather than DarkZero really looking to be the controlling team of this match.
Yep, so just to reiterate, we are in a technical timeout. And because the players can't talk to one another, they get up to some shenanigans over the course of this period. The DZ, though, Canadian specifically, probably in deep thought at the moment, wondering how is he going to get his team back in to a winnable position here on the first map.
We did get the opportunity of casting Canadian's retirement game.
Well,
and then
at the time it was.
And then he unretired.
Will Liquid send him back into retirement?
Yeah, well, oh, geez, that's a bit harsh.
Well, it was a question, it wasn't a statement.
Long ways to go, long ways to go. Have you enjoyed, though, this game from these two teams on a map that neither of them really have played a whole lot of this stage? I mean, they haven't really done a whole lot that's probably out of the ordinary. They've kept it all pretty default.
Yeah, it's been fun.
It's been all right. It's been pretty good. I've enjoyed it.
I think both teams, again, have had pretty good fundamentals, and that's why we're seeing so many rounds. In fact, almost all of them come down to that one micro mistake or that one big play that is the linchpin. Once that piece clicks into place or falls apart, depending on which side of the coin you're on, then the result pretty much determines itself.
Well, fist bumps go out because we're getting back into this one. 3-5 Cash and CCTV in the 9th round. Liquid leading 2 rounds over DarkZero. It is their map pick. It has taken them a little bit of time to get into this semblance of a lead, but they got there in the end. Definitely feels like in those 50-50 moments, though, it's probably been DarkZero that's had a couple of those fortunate rounds go their way. But in terms of the more controlling round wins, I think Liquid's had the majority of them. So as we head into this game once again, I think the onus is on DarkZero to make something happen here in the second half. On the attack, they're going to have to find better ways of getting these opening kills, better ways of having a more successful entry, looking to disrupt this defense of Liquid. We'll see if they can achieve it in the 9th round here. Cash and CCTV. It's a big, big round. And once again, it's a site that has firmly come back into the main rotation of sites here on Clubhouse. Bar stage has kind of been put back on the old back burner.
So there's some interesting repicks then from DarkZero, opting to take out the Capitao for the Thatcher. And Canadian did initially tease Monty. Okay, that's a mirror window. So on the soft wall facing in towards site. Again, just to try and make that entry more challenging for the attack. Typically, I mean, way back in the day, that was always a rotation hole, so your garage player could get back. Then the mindset changed that the player in garage is on an island, he could die anyway. That's why it became a head hole, so that, you know, you couldn't necessarily get in, but it made it difficult for the attack to set up. That's taking it to the absolute extreme with the mirror window. So I'm very, very keen if DarkZero go for a push through garage to see how they'll deal with that.
Well, straight away, Canadian will open up Con. It is Palu, though, who is lingering towards bedroom, looking to deal with these drones and get as much information as possible, and information he will find. There are a couple of DarkZero players over towards Jacuzzi side. Resets will actually rotate over and just tuck in towards Jim off the back of those drones getting taken out by Palu. So again, aggression from Liquid. Of the two teams, they've been the trendsetters in that department. You can see that DarkZero just firmly just sort of sitting back and seeing how aggressive do they really want to get. Do they peak this? Shots out from Canadian. And rightfully so, considering how aggressive Liquid had pushed over towards Jim bedroom.
Is it a bit of a bait, though, from DarkZero? Have they rotated entirely off this push? I think they may have.
Well, is it a bait, or is it just a sign that the pressure's too strong there from Liquid, that they want to actually just move away from that entry point? Canadian finds a kill onto Volps.
Well, he lurked around and he gets rewarded, right? The rest of the team has already rotated off. He sort of stayed back. Maybe Team Liquid, maybe Volts especially, looking to then overpeak a little bit for some information, gets punished.
Remember, a lot of time wasted, though, at least over towards that Jacuzzi position. So, yeah, a semi-win for Liquid, but then a big win for Canadian and DarkZero getting that kill. Just over a minute left. Resets down below in bar now. Liquid still very much playing into that mindset of having the lurker, having the roamer, making sure that DarkZero can't get positions like Lounge for free. Pamba, big drone, spots out the player at rafters, and he is getting a little bit of pressure, but pops one of the Vulcan canisters early on. Still has a Nitrocell available for Nesk, and of course that mirror window facing in towards CCTV is there. 40 seconds, still looking to open up kennels all the way through for the main breach. But they got that player advantage. Resets in secret, spray through the window. It's a 50-50 moment there between NJR and Resets. They'll take that one as a draw. 30 seconds remain, though, and the push will now have to come from DarkZero.
So main wall opened up, Canadian diffuser in hands. He's on the roof. May look to drop down and make a play himself, but it's Gav up main stairs. The skeleton key in hand, but he's taken down. Trades elsewhere, and it's actually DarkZero to win them all out. Lagonis on an island over towards red, confirms the down. 10 seconds on the clock. He doesn't have a hero Nitro, but he does pop up. Not enough, though. Achieved, able to trade.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously got to see the POV there of Lagonis. Held top red stairs firmly. Ended up getting 3 kills in that round, but everywhere else on the site just fell apart for Liquid. Big attacking round for DarkZero to take Cash and CCTV to not allow Liquid to get that match point. 4-5 now on the scoreboard. This one continues to remain an arm wrestle. And I loved the fact that they were just versatile in their approach. Probably one of the better rounds from DarkZero. They sensed the pressure over towards Jacuzzi, and what do? They just rotate off, see if they can catch a couple of the roamers on the way back to site. We saw that with a kill from Canadian onto Volps. And then from there, they were able to just attack site. I had the main breach. They had the player at rafters on an island who was basically set up in that way. And we head into this one. Church Arsenal to come here for the 10th round.
Yep, I like that response from DZ. Team Liquid were the first team really in this series thus far to establish a little bit of a lead and really have some nice momentum to open up this second half, but DarkZero able to stamp their authority back in this series as we head back downstairs. Pam is going to whip out the Brava for this particular round, so we'll see how much of an impact those clutch drones will be able to have. And the droning from DZ, well, it'll need to be good. Resets lurking inside of kitchen. Intriguing position to play, your bandit, especially if you want that util for triple wall and the nitro as well. But might be able to catch DZ off guard, assuming he's still playing there.
Should firmly as well be more of an on-site defense here from Liquid. Last time they had the extension up above, wasted a lot of time for DarkZero. That was pretty much the reason why DarkZero had lost that round. 30 seconds left, and they hadn't really done a whole lot of work on site. Had to just drop, largely blind. This time around, though, much more on-site here from Liquid. So this should give DarkZero a bit more of an opportunity to get a lot of more work done in terms of opening up these positions like kitchen floorboards. Obviously defended by Resets, just sitting prone here, see if he can catch someone off guard. So at least still some kind of presence up above from Liquid, but definitely have changed it up. Obviously Cavini will see that top floor is going to be clear, no footprints, but
oh, he's still
might
there.
just catch a couple over towards kitchen side. Parley, it's up to Parley to show a lot of presence here towards main stairs, trying to draw attention away from that kitchen position.
Yep. The hatch as well has not been reinforced by the defense, so there is somewhat of an escape route for Resets, but hitting that will probably be tough, and Nitro already expended anyway. Unless it gets popped from down below. Oh, not spotted. Oh, the Warden finds the tracks of Alu.
He's going to get a kill.
They're going to have no idea.
It's a matter of who he actually finds here and how many.
Yeah.
He's probably good for one. I don't see a world in which Resets doesn't at least get one kill here. Minute 10. To be fair, at the very least for DarkZero, they're at least getting a lot of work done towards opening up more boards on site. Here we go. Resets is just moments away from finding this kill. There is a little bit of hesitancy over towards this hallway position, but I think that's because of the vault, because of the hatch drop. Virus protection is out of date.
We'll have to get that fixed.
Keep that one updated. 45 seconds left. Reset still hasn't been spotted, but honestly, he might just be sitting there for a while longer because DarkZero have made the drop down over towards site. Double push through Moto.
30 seconds then. Canadian will send a Candela for the swing. Punished. Nest will fall. Canadian able to just hold down the line. It's a 5v4
oh, it's gonna get double kill.
But the flake from Resets, absolutely spot on. Diffuser on the ground. Canadian taken down as well. It's a 3v3.
Chief comes back over towards kitchen. 15 seconds. So still a little bit of time here for DarkZero to maybe salvage this round, but not a lot more is required. NJR. What can he find in here? Up close, tucked in. Bobsless is his life, courtesy of Pamba. 3 seconds, got to get that plant down. And NJR's been able to make the run across and get it. But is he going to be denied? You would imagine he will, but yes, he will. Palu gets it done. Match point for Team Liquid.
Well, we waited and we waited and we waited. We waited a little bit more. Finally, Reset's able to have an impact in that round.
That was bizarre.
Well, it was bizarre in a couple of metrics because DarkZero pretty much applied no presence or pressure over towards kitchen. That's why Resets didn't have that initial impact. Then he moved around, got into bar, rained down fire from above, got that diffuser on the ground. It did enough to disrupt this push from DarkZero, which outside of that actually looked really promising.
Yeah. It was obviously at this point as well, double stat. Reset spots them both. I think he's good for 2 there, but just the timing, Canadian just pushed forward. But in the end, obviously, numbers prevailed for Team Liquid, and that flank from Resets was very much a big factor in winning that round for them. So they get 2 match points to close out their map pick. It's a tactical timeout that has been taken by DarkZero and is already just 5 seconds away from expiring. So hopefully they've had a good chat here as to how they're going to get themselves back into this one. At the very least, Church Arsenal locked away.
Do you think we've updated the virus protection yet?
Not that quickly.
Ah, okay.
Gym bedroom we go for the 11th round. 2 match points for Team Liquid. And a big opportunity to put themselves 1-0 up in this series, firmly in their hands. Last time out had the very soft extension over towards Red, and Cash gave up on it really early into the round. Obviously saw a very strong hold in logistics. That was hard to beat, despite the push-up main from Volps. Oh, sorry, not from Volps, from DarkZero.
Seconds to go.
Over to bedroom then. Big repicks here from DarkZero as well. See the Nook brought out, the Ying as well in the hands of Pamba.
Locate and defuse the bomb.
They're looking to disrupt these defensive setups from Liquid. They themselves are bringing the Bandit primarily for that Jacuzzi wall. Volps as well, given the license to run around on that Solus and look to find information. As we saw in that last round, the droning has been imperfect by DarkZero, so the more that Liquid can do to disrupt that, the better off they'll be.
Yeah, so Nesk will just hold top red for now, but I can't imagine he's going to want to hold that position for too long. Very much by himself, no one can necessarily trade. A lot of the attention from Liquid, Jacuzzi side. Volps actually does get taken down really early on. Wanted to try and maybe go for something cheeky. Get shut down on the Solus. A couple of drones have been taken out. And lose the player early. He gives DarkZero a really good look in.
By attackers.
I love this little mini game over towards Jacuzzi. It's always precarious for that Bandit exposed to the gym window. Exposed as well to a lurk up main stairs. Enough pressure from DarkZero should secure them the breach. Palu elsewhere gets the kill. Resets does fall, so it's still in favor of DZ with the main breach open. Palu lurking for a second, but NJR survives.
Yeah, as soon as Cavini drops their gym window, obviously Palu's just watching it to protect resets, but he was already taken down. It was so quick. Play off of that breach towards Jacuzzi getting opened up. 90 seconds. DarkZero will be happy with that because they got the breach, they got the kill. They lost Cavini, but he kind of did his job anyway. So job done. Palu, though, steps up, gets a big kill onto NJR. Makes the play over towards the breach, comes out successfully with his life intact, doesn't get traded. Just over a minute remaining, achieved. Does he find one through the hatch? No. Nesk still over towards Cash. No real presence for DarkZero just yet, although one towards Lounge. Time's going to start to run out. They're still going to have to push this site with Warden still alive in Lagonis.
Lights on.
Still poking and prodding on the attack, but Team Liquid not presenting too many
One drone
opportunities. Nesk is on a somewhat of an island if he can be cut off. That rotation through Con. Canadian goes on the balcony, but he doesn't quite find the kill. Achieve gets information. Canadian misses the shot. And Nesk now with 30 seconds can play a big role in this round.
It's a big cross that gets allowed by Canadian. Lagonis feeling the pressure over towards logistics. Nesk will spot one, achieved. He's just loitering down below. Gets punished. Pamba gets a big kill back at least onto Nesk. 2 versus 2. Canadian at the gym window. Spots one. Little bit of information that can be played off towards Bartru. The push from Con now as well comes through. Palu doesn't swing. He can play off Lagonis, who can just spot them. Lagonis gets the kill. Pamba gets the other. Needs to push for the last one, but Lagonis will just run as fast as he can all the way down bot main. And the map is won for Team Liquid. They secure their map pick to start this best of 3.
What? Dude, Benjamin Master at the Major? Do you really think he's gonna play with this? You need something way more powerful, man. It's obvious when you see his moves. Do you want to see his moves again, or...?
Bro, I was watching the SI before you even knew about R6. Pengu can win with this setup.
Real legend, he wins with this.
Sorry guys. I know a thing or two about Rainbow Six, so, follow me.
Now this is the best gaming setup. It's the HDR 400 monitor, the XB 25.3 QGP 24.5 inches. EO Finals 2020. I'm doing a triple kill. The monitor had to be top-notch to keep up with my moves. Frostblade fans, they can cool the best graphics card, the best processor, and even the biggest hard drive with the most memory. They keep things cool and calm like my hit was at SI 2018 to win the championship.
Pangu goes for one on the young. Can he go the second? Penta are world champions.
It takes the best to be the best. Are they gone?
Yep. But with 2 Orion tiles fully upgraded and 2 screens. Good job, man.
Thank you.
Takes the best to be the best.
Do you want to see his moves again, or?
Bro, I was watching the SI before you even knew about R6. Pangu can win with this setup.
Real legend, he wins with this.
Sorry guys. I know a thing or two about Rainbow Six, so follow me.
Now this is the best gaming setup. EO Finals 2020. I'm doing a triple kill. The monitor had to be top-notch to keep up with my moves. Frostblade fans, they keep things cool like my hit was at SI 2018 to win the championship.
Pangu goes for one on the young. Can he go the second? Penta are world champions.
Are they gone?
Yep. But with 2 Orion tiles fully upgraded and 2 screens. Good job, man.
Thank you.
Takes the best to be the best.
Welcome to Hit for Sixth. Today, we have Wolves Esports versus the Sonics. Well, the Sonics have won the coin toss. They get the privilege, the honor of picking the first number. Gunnar.
I want 6.
You want 6? Number 6, how many times has Sweden hosted a major in Rainbow Six?
Just a major? Majors.
Just a major. All right, you guys have an answer?
I think it might
Feeling?
be 2. I'm thinking 2.
That is the correct answer. So we'll reveal number 2. It's only in the corner. What is that? I don't know what that is.
Go with your gut.
Go with your gut.
I have no clue.
Trust your instincts, Gunnar. Believe in the heart of the cards. I'm gonna count down. 5, Sean. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Sunrise.
Answer.
Coastline.
It's not sunrise on coastline. However, we can go to Wolves for an attempt there. Which number do you want to pick?
5.
Number 5. How many stim pistol shots does Doc have?
3.
Easy question. See, he knew immediately. That's a well-seasoned Doc player right there. Let's reveal the image. Ooh, a little bit of grass. A little block.
Okay. Garden coastline. Yeah, it's the square in the middle.
Oh! Incorrect, Bibu.
It's not called that.
Yeah, we call it garden instead.
Easy. Give me number 1.
Next question. Wolves have unfortunately not correct. Could not make the cut. Gunnar. Citizen.
No.
Which number?
Number 1.
Number 1. We'll see if they're number 1 after this question. What is Zero's real name, boys?
Sam Fisher.
Sam Fisher.
I'd like to guess where it's at.
What is the number?
Give us courtyard.
Is it courtyard?
Yeah, it is! That's a still. You know, that's the only way they won something. It's okay. In my heart, we won.
Well, and you know what? As long as we're still in positive spirits, that's what matters. But thank you for watching Hit for Six. Tune in for more action between all of our teams at the Copenhagen Major.
Well, Team Liquid have managed to successfully walk away with their own map pick victory over on Clubhouse. DZ, however, gave us a little bit of an underwhelming, unexpected bit of a performance.
I think especially after we've watched such a high quality Clubhouse between M80 and M&M, I think, you know, unfortunately that Clubhouse was just not up to the quality that we would expect, to be honest, out of either team. I think Liquid made mistakes, I think DZ made mistakes, and it's fundamentals that you wouldn't expect of teams of this caliber.
I think being able to look at the two maps in comparison directly, you can see the sheer gap and the sheer gulf in some of the abilities that we've seen displayed here tonight. There were a lot of fundamental errors coming out from both sides here. It was by no means a clean game of Clubhouse. It just turned out that Liquid, they made fewer mistakes.
I've got 3 rounds that come to mind. The first round is actually a Team Liquid round where they're attacking CCTV and they've got a 3-on-3 and they can't figure out for the life of themselves how to navigate a 3v3 to get the plant down. And it was simple. One guy holds breach, one guy holds lounge, the other guy plants, and they kept changing it around. The Capital was going from the breach to the garage, everywhere else. And there was another round where, you know, DarkZero, they've got a player trapped in logistics office. They've droned him, they have the nade, but nobody's holding the runaway. And then he gets away for free and then gets a crucial kill to win the round. It's fundamentals that's costing these teams.
Something that you can see here in the highlights as well, often when we're looking at these sort of high moments and where a lot of the action's happening, just look at the time at the top of the screen. It's always in the red, it's always ticking down. Classic DarkZero and those sub 20-second pushes. It harks back to the 20-second meta that we often like to talk about. But DarkZero, they had a lot of hesitation there. There was double, triple droning, and even off the back of that droning, there was then some things that weren't getting drone fresh. What about that resets round?
Oh, I mean, I've never seen a Church Arsenal round on Clubhouse where, even in ranked, where the kitchen has not been droned. And the fact that a bandit with 4 bandit batteries with all of his utilities just stayed in from prep phase until 20 seconds left, then flanked and basically won the round. There's some fundamentals missing for me that we know both sides have got it as well. And I think that's the most frustrating thing going into map 2.
Well, X, I know you had mentioned that it almost looked as though DarkZero were playing with an awful lot of hesitancy. Do you feel like that kind of boils down to the map veto that we saw, an indication that kind of neither of these teams are necessarily comfortable?
I think we've seen some hesitance on the side of DarkZero in previous games leading up to this, and it's now just compounding even more that the pressure is on. This is an elimination match at the end of the day, so they are reverting back to that double, triple check things.
I am going to go back to the map bans here and say that with the map bans, both teams have ended up on, you know, their less preferable maps. So we are expecting some mistakes, and it is about the team, you know, as we go into border, we can see it's going to be the second map there. As we go into border, it's going to be about the team that can capitalise on the other's mistakes.
Do you think DZ are going to look a bit more comfortable on their own map pick now? Or are you thinking that hesitancy is going to flow through into map 2?
I would expect them to, especially given they've got that footage of Liquid playing border yesterday and how G2 pretty much very comfortably dispatched them. You know, G2 was at 7-2, and then one of them was a Lagonis 1v3. G2 put on a show yesterday on border, set a template out for DZ. It's now just up to DZ to follow that template.
So what are you thinking? You thinking DZ gonna bounce back after that first map as
There's a very good chance, I think, that we get 3 maps, and only because only 3 rounds were won by Liquid yesterday against GT. They won 3 defensive rounds, but they were unable to win an attacking round. That's really what this boils down to. Border can be an incredibly difficult map to coordinate on. You've got a lot of things going on. We've talked about hesitance on DarkZero. It's only fair that we throw that same criticism where we see it onto Team Liquid. And there was certainly some hesitance from Team Liquid in a couple of those rounds. We've already talked about messing up the plant, looking to get the plant down in a 3 versus 2. If you can't navigate that on Clubhouse, it's going to be very difficult to navigate it on border.
How about individual performances for the individual players on each respective team?
I think for DarkZero, I want to see the players kind of step up and be the guy. I feel like they're all operating in a system, and that's fine. The system, you know, especially domestically, works very well. But internationally, and, you know, we saw it in the last game where there was players who stepped up to make the moments. We know DarkZero have got some very talented players. I want to say bloody, I'm going to say they've got some bloody talented players, but I want to see them step up and make those plays. If that means leaving the system, taking a bit of a risk, I want to see them do it.
All right, well, I want Guz and Xenox to give me their predictions as we head into our second map.
Oh, very difficult one to pick as we head into the second map of Border. Yes, it might be the map pick of DarkZero, Guz, but they're 0-4 on this particular map in 2023. It is not exactly a home map for them.
Well, Liquid struggled against G2 as well, and I think Fresh put it pretty aptly. DarkZero more than likely they have looked at that VOD. The template has been laid out for them. If DZ can take their own flair as to what G2 were able to use to crush Liquid, well, they stand a good chance in evening out this series one apiece. So I think I'm going to back DarkZero in just, but they must tidy up some of the mistakes we saw on map 1. The drone work needs to be better. The hesitancy needs to be reduced as well, and especially starting out on attack, we need to see that time management be absolutely spot on.
For the DarkZero fans out there, though, I will say Cafe, the deciding map, if we get there, if they can find success here on Border, is a map that we haven't actually seen Liquid play at all in Stage 1 regionally at the Major. But it is a map that has seen a little bit more play from DarkZero. Yes, they recently lost to NIP on it 4-7. But it's not the most awful scoreline. So if we do get to Cafe, I probably might back in DarkZero a little bit. So up to Liquid maybe to steal this one away. Zami does get banned out once again by DarkZero, continuing that streak, still all stage long, and the Oryx gets banned out, along with the Brava and obviously the Ying. So no real surprises, I don't think, with these bans. I think Brava's quite strong on a map like Border, same with Oryx really too. So from Team Liquid's side of things, they're more so obviously targeting these bans for the particular map, whereas Ying as Army for DarkZero are pretty much their staple bans.
Well, that does conclude the ban phase as we prepare ourselves to jump in for round number 1. Map 2 of this elimination best of 3. The winner of this series still has another best of 3 to play. That one is both a promotion and a demotion game. They could either be extending themselves into the finals, phase 3 of the Major on the main stage, or they'll have to pack their bags, but certainly there'll be one team packing their bags tonight. And at the moment, DarkZero in the hot seat.
Certainly are. They have to win the next 2 maps. They have to win Border, and then they have to win Cafe if they want to progress. If they want to stay here at the Major, Liquid 1 map away from safety for another day, of course, to survive until tomorrow at the very least. So DarkZero will attack first here on Border. Liquid on the defense. Again, not a whole lot to go off for these respective teams outside of the fact that neither of them have won it so far in Stage 1. So it's another one of those strange statistical anomalies. As Fresh put it lightly, both teams getting maps that they're not quite preferred, not at the top of their choose lists. But the onus is going to be on DarkZero to probably fix up some of their mistakes. I think it was put really nicely on the desk. It was a matter of Liquid just not making as many mistakes on Clubhouse. They were a little bit more cleaner in their approach. Didn't do anything too crazy, but DarkZero, there were some times where they certainly made some mistakes, some key errors, and that cost them some rounds.
Border is such a chaotic map. Trying to navigate it as the attack and get entry, the defense as well, looking to trade out picks and be dynamic around the map. Valkyrie in play, and we can see resets already getting good information. Volps as well with a yellow ping, eager to maybe find a kill down into Passport. And again, something to note on Border, so much of the map is destructible, whether it be top down or horizontally. You need to be super on your toes, regardless of attack or defense. Pamba looking to push top east. His gun revealed. Nesk sees the barrel. Nesk swings, gets the kill. The nade drops, but it won't have an impact in this round. NJR elsewhere on the belt gets the down through the wall. Now in competitive, of course. No score indicator, so they don't immediately know, but Gavin, they're able to play clean up.
Yeah, getting that top east stairs control really strong here for DarkZero. Not too bad on the time either. They can start to put a little bit of pressure over towards 90. Yeah, they lose Pam, but not too bad. Liquid, though, obviously defensively on Border. They're going to need to really mine these entry points. Can't really allow DarkZero to get a lot of that map control early, and they've done a decent job. Had the player lurking over towards waiting. Obviously had pressure top east stairs. 4 versus 4. Not the end of the world. Just under a minute left as they look to open up this position. Cavani, though, actually finds the kill on to resets. That's not too bad, and Canadian can put pressure onto site. It's a good little start here for DarkZero, but it all comes down to their onside execution. Palu probably has to hit that headshot. Allows Canadian to fight again here later in this round. And he had the diffuser as well. Would have forced out the rotate. That could have been a massive kill. We'll see if Canadian can punish Palu for allowing him to live on the balcony. And he can push straight into Archives as well. No one's watching this.
Oh, Canadian, though, caught out. Palu misses the initial shot, but backs it up with 2. It flips the dynamic, and Achieved cannot claim the diffuser. Team Liquid shutting down that effort from DZ.
Yeah, so DarkZero just can't punish them there. So a slight little misplay technically by Palu, but as you said, redeems himself, doesn't make the same mistake twice. Whereas for DarkZero, they kind of just sent it into archives and then just sat around and did nothing. Footholds were there. They didn't really do a whole lot. They just rushed in, didn't have as much information. Pretty much no pressure over towards Armory either, so technical timeout immediately called. Not sure of the issue, but 1-0 start for Liquid here on border. That's a good start. And it wasn't a bad start from DarkZero in that round.
Yeah, so it sounds like we are currently experiencing an audio issue. So hopefully this will be resolved quickly.
It's just been that kind of night, unfortunately, for those who watched the M&M M80 game as well. I think we spoke to Lynx after they finished that one, and it was like 9.
I don't think I have ever experienced Lynx, or Carter as he's affectionately known. Well, actually,
affectionately.
Actually known on his birth certificate. I don't think I've ever seen the man out of breath. Yet tonight, in the green room, he was on the couch almost out cold.
Yeah. So not a whole lot to really go off opening round. It is obviously DarkZero's map pick. They were able to get top east stairs control, which is really what you want there. Didn't do a whole lot with it though, to be fair. Kind of just rushing into site. Canadian, they had the player on the window, rush in with him. They both die at the same time. That's diffuser on the floor. It's all too easy for Liquid. Not too sure if they had anyone pushing up towards Metal, towards Beepers, trying to put some pressure towards Armory. It was mainly just the top east stairs push in the north balcony, and that was about it. And Liquid were in good positions to counter that. Question marks, I think, still firmly there on DarkZero's ability to attack into Liquid.
So it looks like we're in the in progress of getting this audio issue resolved. I will say the ambient music.
Mate, once the music comes on, though, I lose hope.
It's a bit of a bop. I lose all thoughts. I don't know what to say.
Once the music comes on, I'm like, oh, okay, this might be a long one, won't it?
Ah, yeah.
Usually, if it's just a quick one, it's just whatever, no music, it's fine, get back into it. The music comes on, and now we're podcast moding. When we look at the series as a whole, though, it's Liquid that are firmly in front for me. Right, just off the eye test, let alone the fact they're already 1-0 up in the series. They controlled the maps better. They've made less mistakes. I think they've been cleaner. Yeah, their attacks definitely had a little bit more going on for them as well, compared to DarkZero at times have been quite stagnant. And obviously, yeah, making critical errors. Only one round, though, into the second map, so hard to really judge border at the moment. But when you look at the series as a whole, Liquid, yeah, showing their teeth, literally.
Yeah, players getting a little bit restless, understandably so. They'll be eager to jump back into this one.
And these guys were sitting around, as were we, watching the M80 M&M game for like 3 hours before this series got going. So it's been some time.
It's getting a little bit late. Currently 11 p.m. local time here in Copenhagen. How have you enjoyed your time? Did you?
Oh, it's been great. Yeah, it's honestly been a lot of fun. We've been fortunate, you and I, to also get a couple of really good games as well. I'm hoping this one will maybe live up to the expectations a little bit more, because it's right now, as it stands, it's actually been probably a little bit more one-sided than I imagined it would be.
Do you think this game will be better than Rev and North Epsom?
Well, on the fundamentals, yes. On the entertainment, maybe not.
You never know. You never know. I think DZ have what it takes, right, to start forming a bit of a comeback as we look like we'll be getting back into the game. Here we are. Towers for round number 2.
Attackers have discovered the location.
Yeah, Bathroom Towers second round, Liquid. Happy to go back rounds to start things off. Obviously, back on Clubhouse, it very much was that arm wrestle until Liquid pulled away in the second half and really started to put a couple of rounds on the board in quick succession. Just you get that feeling that DarkZero have really had to fight for their round wins, whereas at times Liquid, theirs have been a little bit more cruise control-y.
10 seconds left.
That's probably been an issue. Double stack Frostmat in towards Tellers. on the Frost. Very much standard default positions for them from Laguna, so maybe another top east, never mind, he'll keep going.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
So then, as you would expect on border, quite the extension. Defense wanting to lock down every single corner of the map and make it difficult for DarkZero to get entry. The likes of Pamba on the Yana as well, who'll be keen to get a lot of damage done. May look for an entry through the front door, but currently just dealing with these default cams as the rest of the team drones ahead. Canadian, Gavin tasked with sort of locating where some of this util is, where the defenders are electing to hold. Again, the Valkyrie will get some playtime, and that's probably going to be a constant throughout this. DarkZero will be well and truly aware of that, though. As you've mentioned a couple of times, Azami has been their go-to ban at this tournament, and they have not shifted that today.
So entry through supply, and eventually then through customs. Obviously extension up above for Team Liquid, so it is going to have to be dealt with. May look to push up main stairs, but it is being watched as Volps will drop in towards waiting, now towards Passport. Maybe look to get involved here. Cavini has actually had early contact, and he's second best in that fight on the Zofia. Volps, oh, this is a very, very strange positioning from Volps, and Canadian will punish him.
Yeah, that's not the play. Volps is trying to manufacture something there. Of course, going for the wall bang through the wall, but he has no read. He has no information outside Passport. You can't be making that high-risk play. I can understand if you're at a disadvantage, as Palu will punch down the hatch. Nesk to full, Nesk to flank, but Gavin flicks and finds the kill.
I think he's gun jammed. I think he wanted to shoot there, but he just didn't, and the shot goes out the other way. Now the drop as well from Palu. Red pings go out. God to hit these shots, and does do so with the DMR. Cavini's on the floor. There is another body there, though, for DarkZero. That Palu has to take down, and he does. It was Canadian. 3 in the round for Palu. Very much on for the ace now if he can find NJR, and achieved. DarkZero, yet another round where they just kind of fall away. But credit to Liquid. They've been able to respond. 40 seconds remain. Yeah, Palu's dropped below. Nice shot from NJR. So the vert goes back the other way. They have to drop, and they have to move towards site. And they've got to get that diffuser picked up as well.
And with Palu tamed, it makes this round quite achievable for DarkZero. 6 flashes in hand, so good utility. Resets though on the Warden, still up.
Time.
Attackers have recovered their defeat.
Waiting rather, 10 seconds. They need to make this push work.
One above as well for Team Liquid. One below in bathroom. 2 versus 1, but the time.
5 seconds left.
NJR is out of it. And he's not going to be able to clear above or below in time. It's an easy round win for Liquid. A strange middle round. Some chances once again for DarkZero, but they're unable to capitalize, and Liquid punish them. That's been the theme of this series thus far.
Yeah, weird old round. It started off with a big misplay from Volps. I understand he's keen to get in on the action, try and play off that information, but it opened up the gates for Canadian to get that freebie.
Like here, it's a 5 versus 3.
Yeah. But then they just couldn't tame this re-aggression down the hatch. Palu especially got the first, then the second. Just, yeah, causing so much damage. Ultimately just mowing them down with the DMR. Unfortunate there, because there were opportunities for Palu to be taken down.
So Liquid started well here on board of the map pick of DarkZero. Once again, similar themes to what we saw on Clubhouse. It's definitely concerning for DZ. Hard to imagine where's it going to come from for DarkZero. Who's going to be the one to step up, start to break through these defensive lines, especially towards the latter stages of these rounds. The early portions, they've been okay. Some even mid-rounds have been okay, but late round, it's just Liquid that have been hard-pressed to move from these really strong positions.
Capcan in play then for the 3rd round. DZ will need to be mindful of those EDDs. IQ that has been brought in response, and I can't help but feel that to try and counter Another potential Valkyrie pick here from the defense, but Liquid electing not to bring that. Information resources elsewhere in the hands of the Mozzie. And Solace as Volps on said Mozzie finds the first, sprays outbreak door to the second. The Nitro tries to slip that through the barricade, but it won't land. Achieved, able to survive on full HP, but now a 4v5 for DarkZero, so they'll be fighting from behind for the remainder of this attack.
Oh, might work for them. They were fighting from the front the last round, and that didn't work. Maybe switch it up, try your luck. And available there for Pamba. Oh, he gets the down onto Palu, so he won't respond because he's gone. Pamba will finish him off. That's a big kill at least back for DarkZero to get it to a 4 versus 4 scenario. Another logic bomb goes out. It's Pamba that finds a second. So from the man disadvantage to an advantage, but through the window. That's a nice bird hold from Resets. We'll catch Pamba and he'll end his run of 2 kills. 3 versus 3. A little bit more action in the mid round here on Border. No surprise. It is that kind of map where it really does play out more in this fashion than a lot of other maps.
It is that map. Sorry. That was bad. I take that one back. 3v3 though.
Well, it's at this point though where DarkZero just get a little bit stagnant.
Yeah, I mean, they need to try and probably isolate something. Nesk is in a position to maybe be cut down. If they get someone main stairs, he can't necessarily make his way back towards site. Achieve will flush him out with reaching charge. Needs to try and land the shot, but he's already scurried away.
Big damage though. At the very least, it's something. You'll take it. Probably just gives a very slight advantage over to DarkZero. Nesk is so low on health from that tag. 30 seconds though, time becoming a factor. NJR can at least put pressure on. Achieve. That was such a big opportunity. How many times have we seen in this series where Liquid can have a player make the cross successfully and then punish DarkZero later in the round? But Canadian, he got one. There's the trade. That's Lagonis. Gets the kill onto Achieve. He will punish the Nomad in the end. Resets is tucked in close. Are they even aware of his location here on site? He'll get one. He'll get the other. They were not aware. They were not ready for Resets. Once again, late in the round, DarkZero just come up with nothing.
And he really has been a snake in the grass, a thorn in the side for DarkZero. We saw it on Clubhouse. We see it once again here on Border, which should be, of all 9 maps, the most difficult to find yourself in a wrap position, but he timed it perfectly to get in that corner. You're not checking that if you're DarkZero in the late round. There's really no logical reason to. They were also in a position to trade it, but didn't matter. Hits the 2K. Team Liquid hit a very strong lead.
And I'm also going to say, this is a map where if it's your map pick and you're going to choose Border, you've got to attack it well. And we're 3 rounds in, and it's 3 rounds to the defense of Liquid. Super concerning for DarkZero, hence why they've called the tactical timeout. They're firmly on the ropes here.
5 seconds.
Did Canadian know? I feel like he maybe pre-fired that. It's so hard to tell without his perspective because we never saw the POV of DarkZero late then. Maybe there was info. Either way though, full credit Resets. I mean, he played it incredibly well, gets the 2K, locks out the round. That's 3 sites, so perfect rotation for the defense. And this is where you're really tested as a pro player. DarkZero backs against the wall. They now need to formulate a plan. How are they going to bounce back on these same 3 objectives but produce a different result?
Spot at the major, firmly on life support now for DarkZero. 4 rounds away from being knocked out already. And it would be super disappointing for them to go out at this juncture, but it's not too far away from happening. Liquid have looked once again very strong as they were on Clubhouse. They are doing so here on Border. Armory Archives in the 4th round. One of the better sites defensively as well, so it's statistically likely that we may actually end up seeing a 4-0 start here on the defense for Liquid.
5 seconds.
I wonder if DarkZero are going to go for a similar Archives push. They're bringing the Osa this time. One of the big weaknesses last time DarkZero did push this site was their inability to counter the footholds, which meant that once they got control of Archives, they were still under pressure, still being taken down, and Palu was able to find a multi-kill. With that Osa, those Talon shields can, in theory, provide that extra protection.
And that last round as well. Another one where DarkZero had that man advantage going in towards those final critical gunfights onto site, late round.
Oh,
he's been spotted here. And the nade from Pamba, well, he's feeling like he very deserved one there. Well, Volps does actually go down in the end, but not confirmed. Another nade, unable to finish him off. Although NJR will do the damage, he'll get the kill. And it's another early kill for DarkZero, but they do lose their hard breacher in Gavini to resets. He's now 6-1 to go with Palu 6-2. Absolutely franking out for the duo, 4 versus 4. But a little push through waiting for Pamba has been successful. Can look to push over towards East Stairs now.
Talon shield on the
ground. Hero, those Talon shields just providing additional protection on the bulk for Canadian. He'll have that diffuser in hand. The rest of the team will be looking to find themselves in playmaking position. Reset office. Will be critical to clear for DarkZero if they want to commit to this push and achieve sensing that. Gain information as NJR pushes forward, but he's shut down by Nesk. NJR fails to swing in time, and he gets swung himself. Where are the trades from DarkZero lacking? Canadian tries to form something, has achieved still on the roof. There's no hope he can have an impact from there, at least not with gun in hand. And Team Liquid looking like it will be 4 straight on the defense.
The only trade they got was actually from the Claymore of NJR onto Nesk. They just look a little bit all over the place, don't they? Disorientated over towards top East Stairs. Those are the kind of deaths that you can trade, especially top waiting. The swing just never came through, and then NJR gets swung, and you actually saw him in the cam. He just kind of lifted his hand up as a sort of, what the hell's going on? Nothing's working for us. You just wonder what that mentality is like here for DarkZero, firmly on the ropes. Canadian, can he make something happen here? There's not a lot of time remaining, and he's not really playing with Achieved. It's almost like 2 solo players, although maybe Achieved can do something down below, still has a nade available. There's not a lot of time left, and Canadian just has to make the push into Archives with the Talon shield. But the Nitrocell very much awaits. It's got his name on it.
15 seconds left.
He doesn't leave this, surely. Well, actually, plays it well, avoids the first one, but the shield breaks. Does get the kill. Not a lot of time to find the remaining kills. Palu got the last 2 in that round, and Liquid go 4-0 up on Border, firmly in control, not just of this map, but of this series. It's a bunch of lonely faces now for DarkZero as they're starting to realize their time at the major might be coming to an end.
Certainly going to be frustrating for DZ. And again, one of those rounds where they get the opening pick, they have a bit of pressure, but then it's a mistake like this. How are you allowing Nesk to make that play on the balcony? And then it just compounded. We saw 2 fall there. Still no trade as Canadian was making moves elsewhere. Good attempt in the end. I mean, he got 1 kill in the 1v3, but not good enough. And Team Liquid, who did fail to win a single attack, I believe it was, against G2. Let me triple check. Yeah, they didn't win a single attack against G2. So they knew heading into this, right, that they need to mount a big lead on the defense. And that's exactly what they've done.
Another one. So, rehost confirmed off the back of that round win. 4-0 start for Liquid.
Another one. You sound like DJ Khaled.
Yeah, I know, that's the whole point. Another one. Well, I honestly don't even know if this is a time where DarkZero want to break. Now you're just kind of left with your thoughts. You're sitting there, you're kind of just like not really in a good mindset. You can see some sad faces. I think they're starting to face the realization that they just can't quite hack it against Team Liquid. It hasn't really been close on Border. Clubhouse, there were moments where there was a bit of that arm wrestle in the first half, but to be honest, Liquid pulled away pretty comfortably in the second. And really, as the series has progressed, they've just really gained more and more control, and they're just kind of doing as they please, and DarkZero haven't really had the answers.
Yeah, it's been tough for DZ, but Team Liquid, a formidable opponent. They've been so close to winning titles in recent history, and they're looking to take that next big leap. Still a decent road for Team Liquid to take if they want to make it to the final phase of the major, to the finals, to the main stage.
It's going to sound strange as well. Presuming Liquid can actually finish this job off, win the series, move forward, it kind of opens up their map pool a little bit, doesn't it? Because in terms of recency, wins on Clubhouse, wins on Border, 2 maps that haven't been in their map pool preceding the major, let alone preceding today. Suddenly, that's now 2 maps that teams are going to look at and be like, well, do we want to go there? So this could actually be somewhat of a platform that maybe Liquid can really sort of launch off and have a really strong back half of the major and push towards the finals and potentially in the finals. But it's not over yet. Although 4-0 start, second map, with already a 1-0 lead for Liquid, has got them in the driver's seat. DarkZero are having to play massive catch-up. Still in the lobby as we can see, so hopefully not too far away from getting back into things on Border. DarkZero, what can they do to turn this around? 2 more rounds in this half. They've got to get some attacking rounds on the board. They probably have to win the next 2 rounds. Ooh, it is Border. I mean, this is all like, I'm trying to put it as light as I can, but it is really, really grim right now for DarkZero.
Yep. It is pretty tricky to hype them up for the remainder of what may be their final map at the major. We need to see that spark. And I think actually the desk put it pretty well. In a lot of these games, and especially at an international level, sure, your fundamentals can be great, they can be rock solid, they can work week after week, play day after play day regionally. But sometimes you just need that player or two to really step up and inspire the rest of the roster, give them some confidence. We just haven't seen that hype factor, if that's what you want to call it, in this match at all for DarkZero. We've seen it from Team Liquid. We've seen those rat plays from resets. We've seen a couple of big multi-kills from Palu. Maybe it's just recency bias, but I can't think of that happening for DZ at all, really, in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think Pamba's had a couple of okay moments.
5 seconds left.
That's probably all I can really think of. And then you couple that, so the lack of hype and those lack plays, with the fact that they're the team making more mistakes as well, so it's not like they've been clean. It's really just been a bit of a shambles of a series for DarkZero. Besides that first half and Clubhouse, ever since then, it's just all been one-way traffic. Liquid look confident. They look like this should just be a formality from here on out. 2 rounds to close this first half, and again, a reminder, it is DarkZero's map pick, but a map that they are 0-4 on for the entire year of 2023. So there will be a lot of questions asked here of the map veto. If you're a fan of DarkZero, you're probably wondering, how the hell have we gone to 2 maps that we haven't won for the entire year?
I mean, there'd have to be some good reasoning behind it. DZ with very strong support staff, Mint behind them as coach. Luke as well, in the analyst role, who actually recently jumped across from SSG. He shared in their success when they lifted the trophy a couple of years ago. Yeah, certainly questions may be asked depending on how this one shapes out. And unfortunately, again, for DZ, it's looking grimmer and grimmer. Opening pit going the way of the defense.
Now, the best thing they can probably do right now is just pick Grim and make Fresh happy. 2 more operators to go. I think it's Grim and Tachanka.
To fill out the bingo card?
Yeah. Someone's got to do it at some point. Just for a meme. 90 seconds to go. DarkZero just sitting outside. This actually feels like a pretty depressing round. They are already down a player, haven't really got a whole lot of map presence. Bot main for Pamba. Doesn't elect to push up. They will need to clear above though. So you can't just sort of take the direct path towards site. Has been droned. Does try to maybe play the hatches, maybe a little bit of it from below and towards workshop, but eventually you do need to clear above here. Maybe just wants to be in position for a rotate back from Liquid.
Well, the E1D goes out. DarkZero able to play off at Pamba, aggressive in towards site, but he trips the goo mine. So a sound cue does go out to the defense. They seem aware as resets looks down the hatch. The goo mine gets pulled out. Canadian to follow. So this is a pretty intriguing attacking pattern from DZ.
Well, up close, gun barrel sticks out. Canadian sees the red ping as well, but too slow to react, and Team Liquid are just finding kills everywhere across the map. Never even looked to try and put the plant down, just feels too much pressure. And that's a part and parcel with the fact that because you haven't cleared above, you haven't really got what feels like a controlled site. It's tainted. It's not safe. And even though you get this plant down Canadian, your life is going to be short-lived, and it's going to be a 5-0 start for Liquid. They honestly tried to cheat. They tried for the shortcut. Not only did it work, they made themselves look a bit silly. Like, you just go straight to site, you don't clear anything above, you allow the flanks as well. I mean, you've just tried to get the plant down and nothing else.
The game's over. I mean...
They look checked out.
Yeah, this is GG. We can pretty much call it now. Yes, you can get away, technically speaking, with one attacking round on border as an absolute long shot, but they look absolutely defeated after that round. They're not really talking it through all that much. They look deflated. You can see Mint in the background, their coach shaking his head as well, knowing that that play was very poorly executed. Team Liquid, rampage across the map. Control up above, uncontested. The plant going down at a man disadvantage for the attack, and it's as easy as just converging on Canadian left all alone.
Yeah, and Liquid's playing it well, right? Because they're still capitalizing on this. Sometimes you can sort of just lose a little bit of that control up above. If you think, okay, they're brushed onto side, we try to scramble, we throw some lives away, we make some mistakes. They just keep a cool head. They keep a cool head. They understand they've still got primary position, they've still got vert. They understand that DarkZero has tried to go for a bit of a shortcut. They keep their numbers. They kill any kind of semblance of attack from DarkZero off. It's a 4v1. They let Canadian get the plant down. Doesn't matter. 5-0. 1 round to go in this half. And DarkZero are now firmly looking for their tickets for their plane towards the airport, which is not very far.
No, it's a short drive.
I would say that they're actually near the airport. Is that what NA stands for?
I'll let chat decide. I'm not getting involved in this one. I don't want to cop a pitchfork in the back. Who do you reckon they're going to verse, Team Liquid? I'm having a look. Some of the names. Virtus Pro. Oh, I wouldn't want to verse them. SSG. Ooh. I think that's winnable. Scars. Eminem. Wolves. It's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out. We'll have to, of course, wait for the seeding at the conclusion of this match, the conclusion of the day.
Well, I want to see something from DarkZero to close this out. You can't just end your major tournament on a 7-0 or a 7-1 or something like that. They need a bit to fight back. Save face a little bit. I mean, if you lose this 7-4, 7-5, at least there's a little bit of that respect that you fought tooth and nail to bring it back. Pamba just pushes through Passport in towards waiting. Final round of this first half, final attacking round for DarkZero to maybe get on the board, and they lose achieved for the second round in a row at the beginning of this round. Lagonis almost times one there on to Pamba. He will try and play off of this. It feels like they're just sending it down mid. They've lost another one. 3 versus 5. Pamba's just running around. Gavini up top of waiting. He gets sent back through Passport, and they are basically being told, you're not allowed to enter our building.
And I think what was telling there is Canadian falls. You could see Mint, DarkZero's coach in the background, sort of just...
Wow, this is an onslaught.
Put his hands in his head, or his head in his hands.
His hands in his head?
No, they didn't quite go in. I don't know if he's capable of that. 2v4 though. Team Liquid. What a dominant performance here on border.
Yeah.
Flipping that narrative against G2. They were slaughtered, but now they're the ones doing the slaughtering. But Gavin not going down without a fight. Maybe himself and NJR can link together. 3/4 of a minute to go. I mean, there's an opportunity here to at least get a round on the board.
Yeah, certainly still winnable. You've got Diffuser. Cleared out a lot of that vert as well, so you know that they're going to be largely on site. They do rotate around 30 seconds. You've got the time to do so. Back through Passport. This time through, though, is NJR. Time of factor. Takes out the default. Over towards main lobby. Resets can swing off this. And, well, that was one that he won't want to watch back. Still got a bit of damage onto NJR. It does punish him, at least gets that headshot. Papalu finishes off the last 2 remaining players for DarkZero and probably finishes off any kind of hope of some sort of comeback. It's a 6-0 lead for Team Liquid. 6 match points, 6 opportunities to send DarkZero packing from the Copenhagen major. They are on the verge of 7-0ing DarkZero to send them home.
And I must say, it's remarkable the discrepancy between these two teams, considering, again, this is second from North America in DarkZero, and second from Brazil in Team Liquid, yet in this game, today at least, looking worlds apart. It was Volps to get the first, achieved falling first for DZ 2 rounds back to back, and then it just steamrolled from there. The solo entry is just being absolutely decimated.
And don't get it twisted, I think Liquid have actually played pretty well here. They haven't, again, made really any mistakes on border as they didn't on Clubhouse, so you can very much look to that and say, okay, well, they're playing some clean siege, they're not making too many mistakes. I think they've looked really strong defensively, and also on the attacking side of Clubhouse, I thought they did a really good job of just putting pressure on DarkZero, opened up a lot of different sideline angles, and I thought that they had a very good Clubhouse, and border obviously defensively, they've been really, really strong. So moving forward, they've played really well, Liquid. They've opened up their map pool a little bit. I mean, this is as perfect as a series could go from them. And it'll give them hope going into tomorrow that they can do it again, win another best of 3, and make their way to the finals. DarkZero, though, a humiliating defeat if they lose this 7-0. They've got to at least put one on the board here defensively to start this second half. I mean, we've seen teams win games when they're down 6-0, but they do look mentally checked out. I'm not sure if they've got it in them. And Team Liquid firing on all cylinders.
Palu lurking, dangerous down below. Already presence down below. As Pamba actually gets the first Volps. A little bit hot and cold today. Still a question mark over his ability to slot into this roster on the international stage. Still work to be done with that addition to the team. Bit of pressure now on Team Liquid, a 4v5. Looking to try and find their way back into this round. Resets, though, just sends it off his window. NJR, though, wins that duel out.
And surely from here, DarkZero will be able to find their first round, although Lagonis might have other ideas with the kill there on to NJR. And Chief takes a big chunk of damage, presumably from a native pilot. Canadian, though, with a Nitrocell kill onto Lagonis, brings it back to a 2-player advantage for DarkZero on the defense. So they can take at least a round with them on the road and save face a little bit so they don't get 7-0'd. Unless Palu and Nesk have got one last display, maybe sending this to a 7-0 scoreline. They'll have to pull it off. They've got a minute to do so. But surely DarkZero will not be able to lose this one. Still a 2 Nitrocell advantage for them as well. Convenient and achieved. They've got site control, diffuses pretty much elsewhere. I don't know if Palu and Nesk are going to have a whole lot of time to get that, to get into site, clear it. There's a lot that they've got to do. They might just send it towards site, hope they can get a couple of kills. And that looks like the plan. They'll double stack together through security. They won't find anything, and time starts to run out for them.
They might be 2 of the best players in the world, but even this, a tall order. Nesk will lead the charge through Fountain. Live drone by Palu. So they found one on an island. Over towards Archives, and Nesk looking to try and maybe execute a swing, but the angle's being watched. He sees the shoulder on the chassis. Doesn't land the shots.
15 seconds
Not
left.
a lot of time. Nesk swings, gets the kill onto Canadian, gets the second onto Convenient as well. 10 seconds left. Surely can't be lost from here, and Pampa says no, it won't be lost. Fist bumps go out for DarkZero. They get around, they save face. They will not get 7-0'd in this one, but it's still very much grim for them. 5 more rounds required. Would be one of the greater comebacks if they can achieve it. It's at least a stepping stone. It's still at least just 1 round, and that's got to be their mentality as a team here. 1 round at a time. This one's not over. But you can't put a foot wrong.
I look back then at the round. Okay, that was a freebie for Pamba. Just the 1 kill. It didn't actually happen twice. Lagonis as well. Good pressure through Office initially. Nitrocell over the top, and that brought it into the 4v2. Then to the Nest. Got Canadian on an island. Gav probably should have traded that out, but a really sharp 2K from Nesk. But then Pamba says, nope, we're not letting that happen. And finally, DZ get around on the ball.
Yeah, and you just need to maybe 1 round to just maybe bring some hope, breathe some life back into DarkZero. You don't want to play devil's advocate too much and show too much hope here, but it has been done before. It's not an impossible task that teams can't necessarily have 6-0 halves into 6-0 halves. It's been done, can happen. Hard to imagine a 12 defensive round border though. And a lot has to go right for DarkZero. But they just have to play this as one round at a time. Can't look at that scoreboard. Can't have a defeatist mindset. Canadian on the Solus. And I think aggression's probably the best way forward for DarkZero. Try and find a couple spawn peaks. Try and be aggressive. Especially on the roam here with Canadian on the Solus. Take out a couple of drones. See if you can get into a good position to find an early kill. Get involved. Win a couple of rounds. Put the pressure onto Team Liquid. Force a timeout later on. And it can all start to unravel. So they've just got to have the belief.
Belief, though, it's only going to get you so far in a game like this. DZ have made quite a few mistakes throughout this series and now need to pretty much be perfect for 5 rounds in a row, then plus OT to extend the series. Does feel like it's a matter of time until Team Liquid are able to survive at least one more series here at the Major. Canadian on site, trying his best to deal with the impending information as resets, teasers over towards Office. The Vault, oh, the double frost mat, but he shoots them both out. Shoots NJR in the back of the head. Pamba falls as well.
And that might be DarkZero falling as well. Now on a 3 versus 5. Down to just Canadian. Convenient achieved. They probably have to just try and find a way to look and search for the next kill. They can't just sit back and allow Team Liquid to corral them, to put the pressure elsewhere. A play needs to be made right now if they're going to stay alive here. Logic Bomb to go out from Vault. That's his final one. Couple of flashes. Canadian spots one hit through vent. He'll get flashed full white. I think it's starting to fall away. Another one from Vaults as well. Achieve dies. They've got the ping. They know where Canadian is. In a 4 versus 1 for Gavini. He starts with 1. He'll need 3 more. But he will get double stacked in server and he loses his life. And DarkZero lose their spot at the Major. Team Liquid, they will survive till at least tomorrow. One more best of 3 required from them. For DarkZero though, their time at Copenhagen has come to an end. Off to the airport for them.
Great performance there from Team Liquid. They'll be thrilled with that one. They bounced back on board of the map. We had question marks over them on, so they'll be very pleased with that. Disappointing though for DarkZero, and they'll be scratching their heads at how they let this one slip.
Yeah, I mean, they at least avoided the 7-0 disaster on border. You do have the questions that will be asked firmly by a lot of people. That map veto, it was strange. When we first saw it, we thought that was maybe a mistake that had been made. We weren't quite sure of its validity. And I'm not too quite sure if DarkZero will be happy that they ended up going towards those maps that they have not found success on so far in this stage. Maybe they thought they workshopped it, scrimmed it, prepared for it, but it wasn't enough. Canadian just kind of shrugs his shoulders and thinks, well, what was that? Because they honestly didn't really offer much of a contest, especially on border. Clubhouse was a different story, first half especially. It was a bit of an even game, but they dropped right off, and Liquid's pressure, well, it ramped up. Well, that was a massive, massive game to close off today for day 2 of the playoffs. Veracity, though, she's got an interview.
Well, Lagonis, you're going to have to talk us all through that map veto, first and foremost, because you managed to survive to fight another day.
Yeah, it was a great day for us. I'm really, really happy that we won on Clubhouse and then in border. Like, yesterday was a tough day for us. We lose on border. So yeah, I'm pretty happy that today was a comfortable day and everyone could perform very well.
Did the map veto go according to plan for you?
We were a little bit surprised about the pick, their pick, because they picked border. They were banning border a lot in this tournament, at least. But yeah, like this was the only surprise. We were ready for every map.
And how did you look to enter today's games after having a loss like you did versus G2 coming into this?
So, like, we were struggling a lot about, like, what we were doing in scrims, we can't do in the tournaments. Like, that's our main problem right now. So today was, like, just have fun and let's be happy when we are playing. And, yeah, and we were happy and we win. I think that was really, really important.
So far we have 3 other Brazilian teams that have made it through to the finals. Do you feel any sort of regional pressure to try and be the 4th team to do it?
Yeah, of course. I think there is a little bit of pressure, like we want to be with the other 3 Brazilian teams. And yeah, we know that we are a really good team, and we needed to like only, I don't know how to say, like find where we are, like we can be much better than what we are showing up, and I hope to, like in the next days we can do better, like the same we do today. And yeah, let's see if we got for Brazil in the playoffs.
Well, my final question for you is, who do you want to face tomorrow in the best of 3? You got Scars, Wolves, VP, SSG, and M&M.
I think SSG, it's gonna be great. It would be great. Another North American team. I like to play against the North American teams. So yeah, SSG.
Is there any reason for why you like playing NA teams?
I don't know. I like to play against their play style, like the way they play. SSG actually plays a little bit different from the others, in my opinion. But I think they play like really crazy, and it's gonna be nice playing against them.
Well, best of luck to you and your team.
Thanks so much.
Gentlemen, I thought for a split second we might just have another 7-0, but no.
Scary. Honestly, it's going to feel like it for DZ, to be honest, either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be a heartbreaking loss for them. Now, talk to me. We spoke about the hesitancy that we saw from the side of DZ over in the previous map. Did you see more of that coming through?
I think we did. Honestly, I think, you know, there was times, I think there was a big desync in a lot of what they wanted to do. It was like they had a plan and everybody had the individual bits of their plan that they wanted to do, but nobody saw the big picture and how it all interconnected and how it all intertwined. And I think we just saw Liquid be able to slice and dice their way through it. You know, you see in the highlight here, 32 seconds left, and there's a player still basically in spawn. He was, whilst another player is planting, he was probably responsible for, you know, a certain part of the map, whilst one player is then planting. And I think that inconsistency when it's not clicking, and it felt like they weren't playing for each other. They felt like they were playing for their individual objectives in rounds.
There was a lack of team play as well. If we're looking at a lot of these highlights, you can see the man counts, and sure, it's end of round stuff, and we saw that Liquid got a very convincing win, but very often the man count advantage is in favor of Liquid. It's typical now that a clip comes up where it isn't, but the overall story of that map was that DZ couldn't get the trades. They had that hesitance. They weren't able to trade effectively off the back of Liquid, and we just saw them be quite slow again. That hesitance was there, a lot of double droning, a lot of triple checking, and it just seemed like they weren't all pulling in the same direction.
I think it was a very, very bold map choice in terms of going to border against Liquid. I think, you know, in terms of, yes, G2 had set that template for them, but they've got to remember they play very differently to how G2 play in a different system with different players. And also Liquid were going to learn at some, you know, in some sense from their mistakes that they played just the map yesterday.
So obviously we saw DZ on numerous of occasions kind of running down the clock, as you mentioned, in the green room, up until there being like 30 seconds left there. Is that down to so much focus being on their individual gameplay?
Yeah, I think it is maybe the system a little bit. I think, you know, especially with border, where, you know, where we look at European and probably you as well with Latin American scene. Yeah. In terms of border being a map where you're fighting people at the border of the map, like quite literally, you're fighting them at the entrances, and the round is usually won or lost within the first minute. Whereas DZ was taking so long, when you're attacking that map, you've got to, you know, bring the pace, you've got to try and get a man advantage on the attack, because if you don't get that man advantage and you don't force the pace, the defenders will just lay themselves back. And that's exactly what Liquid did today.
And I kind of want to revisit the ban phase as well. Liquid coming through with the Oryx ban as well. What kind of impact did this end up having?
The Oryx ban really bounces quite well off that point that Fresh is just making there about running down the clock and DZ just being stumbling for time. It's because there were so many options available for Liquid. They started off defense here. Now we know that they were able to get a couple of rounds on defense when they played here against G2. It was their attacks that struggled. So what did they do? They made things very easy for themselves. The Azami was banned by DarkZero. So Liquid go, well, what do we fancy playing? Well, we fancy playing everything. Let's just get rid of the Oryx.
I thought he was going to name them all then.
No, I wasn't going to name them all. I saw you getting your fingers ready.
They played the Valkyrie, they played absolutely everything. And I think that is one good thing, you know, with the bans, is that you can, when you're on the defense, you can determine that last defense ban and really set yourself up well.
Well, it has been an explosive day number 4 here over in phase 2 of the Blast R6 Major Copenhagen. So let's go ahead and have a little bit of a revisit of our bracket. Now, gentlemen,